You are tuned in to She's Crowned with Confidence with host Dr. Nicole Steele. This Power Pack podcast was designed to remind listeners of who and whose they are and to encourage, equip, and empower them to regain their confidence and reclaim their crown. Are you ready to fully embrace what makes you uniquely you? Gain clarity on what you were created to do and to show up in the world unapologetic and authentic through and through? Well, if so, then this podcast is for you. It's time to regain your confidence and reclaim your proverbial crown that was designed with you in mind. No longer second guessing the greatness that lies within, but instead stepping all the way into it with newfound clarity, confidence, and courage. So, without further ado, it's time to adjust your crown and sit on down for another inspiring episode of She's Crowned with Confidence. Hello and welcome to another episode of She's Crowned with Confidence. I'm your hostess, Dr. Nicole Steele, the confidence coach. And I love using this platform to shine the light on other brilliant minds out here in the world doing great things and helping people walk in confidence. So today, I am delighted to welcome to the show Miss Dominique Carson. She is a licensed massage practitioner and an award-winning journalist. And I can't wait to talk to her about her journalistic journey and all of the people that she's had an opportunity to interview over the years. But I will let her take a moment to introduce herself to our guest here. So welcome to the show, Dominique. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Steele. I'm so excited to share my story and my journey to impact others. And you can get, more information about me as well.
Excellent, excellent. So I understand that you in Virginia, right? Virginia
Yes,
Beach.
I'm in
Are you
Virginia Beach, but I'm
are you
originally from the NYC.
okay? New York in the house. How long
Mhm.
have you been up in the Virginia area?
3 years.
3 years. How do you like it?
I love the Virginia Beach area. I can appreciate, kind of like a slower pace lifestyle coming from the city, New York exact, because where it's so busy and everybody's fast paced, fast move. And, now that I'm in my early 30s, I can appreciate something a little bit more slower. But
Uh,
but Virginia Beach is considered to be the resort city of Hampton Road. So it's not as slow as
oh,
people think it is.
okay. Lots of tourists coming in and out. I
Mhm.
see. One of my good girlfriends is from New York. She's from Harlem. She's down here in Atlanta where I reside now.
Okay.
But she is yeah, she keeps New York alive, I
That's
tell
one
you.
thing you're gonna realize about a New Yorker. We keep it alive. I said, even though I don't live in Brooklyn anymore, it's Brooklyn all day,
All day,
every day,
every
every
day.
day. Well,
I
I'll be in
love it.
Atlanta next month too.
Okay.
For my Author All Star Celebration Conference, we're gonna be in the Buckhead area. So this would be my first time going to Atlanta. So I'm
Oh,
excited. Yeah.
well, I tell you, you might just like many, Atlanta is a place full of transplants like myself.
Mhm.
It's very rare, believe it or not, where I meet people who are actually from Georgia. Most people that I come in contact with, and I've been in Atlanta now for almost 30 years. Actually,
Wow.
next year it'll be 30 years. Very rarely do I find a real natural born Georgia peach. So when you come down, you might have another city to add to your list
That's
of
fine. I've heard some stories. I mean, one of my favorite male singer, Usher, he's not originally from Atlanta. Everybody thinks he's from Atlanta. He's
yeah,
originally from Tennessee, but Atlanta has raised him from like
yes,
13. So
yes. So
I
we
get it.
claim him now. We claim him.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Atlanta is great. I hope that you have a wonderful time during your
Thank
visit.
you.
So let's start here because one of the things that I found fascinating when preparing for our conversation today is that you are an award-winning journalist, and in your work, you've had an opportunity to interview over 100 well-known, famous people along the over the years. So before I get into a question that I have about some of the people that you've connected with, what led you to go into that field?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Dr. Steele. Writing has been such a peaceful aspect of my life. It was a very comforting time for me. I was kind of going through some growing pains as a child. And when my mom and my sister's dad relationship deteriorated, that was like my first paternal figure. My biological father was killed before I can even walk. So he was kind of like that person to give me that fatherly love, that daddy's little girl. And when that relationship deteriorated, I felt like my world just shattered, and I just needed an outlet to allow me to express my thoughts as a kid. And then it was my uncle Ricky and my cousins Iani and Fatima, his daughters, inspired me to write. Especially
Wow.
him. He's the vivid storyteller in our family, full of life and imagery and imagination, and the way he just told stories. And I
Mhm.
just kind of fell into that realm. And then I decided to be a journalist. BET had a television show back in the day. It's called Teen Summit,
Oh
where
yeah.
Ananda Lewis was the host. And when I
Hmm.
saw her,
It was
I
on.
was like, it was on and popping. I wanted to be a journalist right then and there. I didn't want to be like television per se, but I
Mhm.
knew I wanted to go into the print avenue. And then I told my mom and my grandparents. They supported my idea. My favorite elementary school teacher, Miss Ellen Adrugado, I was in her fourth and fifth grade class, and I edited my classmates' writing. We used to have writing assignments in the black and white notebooks,
Mhm.
and she did an exercise where we edit each other's papers. I was like, how you gonna want a 9-year old to edit another 9-year old paper? But I didn't do too bad. And my good friend and classmate Erica Booker, and from that point on, it's been a 24-year journey with this writing. And I went to one of the best high schools in New York City, Edward R. Murrow, named after a journalist. My grandfather, he worked for New York City Transit, and that was like his route. And he always called me Nicky Knack, and he was like, Nicky Knack, you need to go to this school. Your brain is too smart to go to your zone school. And
Yes.
let me tell you how God worked. That was not my first school that I put on the list. It was
Wow.
another high school, and
Mhm.
turned out my second choice was Murrow. They called me, and that school just changed my life, because of Murrow and the journalist and editor I had at the time, Monisha Bing. She's like this Emmy award-winning journalist now. She has her own company, Her Agenda. She trusted me and two other, student journalists to interview the cast of Degrassi. That's when Drake was just first starting his career. So I would say
Mhm.
interviewing celebrities go back to when I was 17, 16, 17 years old.
Wow.
So this has been, if you count my early days of student journalism, I would say about 17 years.
Oh, everything you just said, it is so jam packed with so many gems. The first thing that I want that you spoke about in terms of that village, that
Mhm.
family, that even not even biological, you know,
Mhm.
people that God strategically placed in your village that
Yes.
spoke to that purpose that he had designed it from the beginning of time,
Mhm. Mhm.
but those people gave life to it. And I
Yes.
think that that is so powerful because I know that there are some people listening today that either have been blessed like you to have people that have been giving confirmation upon confirmation that have
Mhm.
just, I mean, you name teachers, you name cousins and uncles and stepfathers and all of those things, but your mind was open to receive, which is half of the battle right there.
Mhm.
But to think that, you're able to trace your purpose, and fortunately for you, you got a jump start whereas many people ignore all those signs and those open invitations, and
Mhm.
they don't awaken that purpose. They don't tap into it until much later in life. So
Yeah,
you are blessed from that aspect.
absolutely.
But I know that there are also some people who may be listening who are raising up a generation of people. And I think that because I'm a parent, I have two daughters, but and I work with girls in the on the other side of the house with the nonprofit. But I encourage parents to help your kids try out and find out. You know, your uncle, your loved ones has said, right, right. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
never would have known had you not been pushed to pick up the pen and put it to paper.
Yeah.
You know, you could have done it and then it didn't land
Exactly. It
anywhere.
just it
So you
just blended it just blended well. And then, my mom is a teacher, so she was really hands-on with the mechanics of the writing and making
Mhm,
sure all the resources I needed, especially me being deaf for the first 4 years of my life. So I needed extensive speech related services. So in addition to you being a prolific writer, you
mhm,
need your all your other senses to be on point. So we had extensive speech services, still in general education classes, advanced placement, but you wouldn't even know that I was hearing impaired because my
mhm,
mom was so on top of it, being the warrior that she is,
mhm.
and just supported it. I commend my hand to her because I don't
Yes.
know how many 21-year-olds dealt with a child that you're not sure of the fate of your daughter being deaf as
Mm,
a child. But
mm.
she always say it was her village.
That's it.
It was her
Yeah.
village.
And her advocacy. It was your village, I mean, her village, but it was her advocacy
Yes.
that tapped into it because a village can't do it by itself, you know. And
Yeah.
I know it's a hard, you know, journey for any parent dealing with
Mhm.
anything relating to their kids. But kudos for her for even as a young mother doing what she needed to do. And look at you now. Look at
And
you
now
now.
she's 29 years with the Department of Education for New York City.
Wow.
29 years of
What a
as an
blessing.
educator. Mhm.
What a blessing. I
Mhm.
tell you, woo, woo, woo. All right. So let's talk about your journey in journalism and hearing that you've had a chance to interview people, famous people, unsung heroes, or people I can only imagine
Mhm.
the list. Can you tell us if there's one person, I want you to think of one person that comes to mind that you've interviewed that exuded confidence, that it just, you know, as you interviewed them, they exude confidence, but what was it about them that brings their face to your mind with this question?
Oh man, it's so many people that fits that criteria, but I would say Uncle Charlie.
Not my Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie,
Not
yes.
my Uncle Charlie from
Uncle
the
Charlie.
goddamn, not that Charlie.
Yes, yes, yes.
What?
I
Oh,
had an opportunity to interview this man 3 times, and one was in
wow.
person. And when I
Wow.
saw him, in person in Manhattan, he just had this swag, like,
Mhm,
he was like a living, breathing, walking testimony of all the things he's endured, from
mhm.
homelessness to substance abuse
Yeah.
to not being taken seriously at first as a musician, as a solo artist, because we
Mhm.
all know him from the Gap Band and releasing
Yeah.
those classics. But when you're, trying to get back into this industry in the past that you had and overcoming that, that
Mhm,
can make people, challenge their confidence. And it
mhm,
was his village, his wife, first and
mhm.
foremost, his
Mm,
relationship with God
yeah.
that allowed him to release, I think, like 10 number one hits as a solo artist
Mm, mm,
and
mm.
inspire another generation of people to respect him as an artist. And I think, Snoop was a part of that village.
Yeah.
R. Kelly at one point was a part of that village. Justin
Mhm.
Timberlake. It's
Yeah.
so many people that was a part of his village as
Mhm.
well that allowed him to get back into the business. And when he
Mm.
received the Lifetime Achievement Award, I was like, yes, yes, Uncle Charlie is getting his dues. But the funny thing is that our interview was supposed to be 10 minutes. We lasted 30 minutes.
Wow.
in that interview.
Wow.
And because it was the rhythm, the flow,
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm. I love him. Not only do I love him because I grew up on him. My mama had all of the Gap bands, and I was raised by a single mom, but we had a record player, and that was my alarm clock. It was either the Gap band, it was Maze, it was Michael
Yes.
Jackson. I mean, that's how when my mama was in that mirror putting them lashes
Yep.
on and getting ready for work, and that was my alarm clock. So I've loved him from the beginning. However, you spoke about that moment of reinvention. And I think that stumps a lot of people because we can go through one season and a season may come to a close, but that's not it. I'm a firm
Mhm.
believer as long as we have a pulse, we got a purpose.
Amen.
And I'm so glad that despite his like you said, substance abuse, homelessness, poor choices, he has been able to rise
Yes.
above all of that. And now his faith, and I love the fact that he unapologetically gives all
Amen.
glory to God, because that's where true confidence comes from. I'm sure
Exactly.
if he could take all of those gold records and all of those top 10 songs, but he recognizes that without God, none of it is
And
possible.
he
In the
say it, and
same,
he say it in his and then I had the opportunity to see him live like several times.
yeah,
And he'll tell you, I'm gonna put some gospel in this concert. And he
that's
said,
it.
he asked God, he said, if you give me one more chance in life and music, I will
Mm-hmm,
shout you out and I will testify. And then anybody that goes to an Uncle Charlie concert,
mm-hmm.
you're gonna get some church in there. And it
That's
was
it.
such a privilege to interview him because, like you said, I grew up with the Gap Band. My
Yeah.
grandfather, that was like my grandfather's favorite band. My grandfather's
Mm-hmm.
originally from Charleston, South Carolina. So he grew up
Okay.
with the Gap Band, the Higher Players,
Mm.
Slave, all those groups. So I was like outstanding because he's like, Nicki Nat, all these 90 artists that you're listening to, they're sampling the Gap Band and all
That's
these other
right.
people. So I said, okay. So that kind of really sparked my interest
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
classic R&B music. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when my journey of hearing Outstanding, because every family
Mm-hmm.
barbecue, you was gonna hear Outstanding or
Up
Made
every
Fruit and
time.
Sprinkling Braves or Before I Let Go.
Come
You
on.
gonna hear
Come
you hear
on.
those
Come
classics at a family barbecue, wedding party, something. You gonna hear those two.
on.
So
Always.
to interview him, that was, that was so special because by that point my grandfather passed away. So
Oh.
for me to do that, I feel like, that was a dedication to my
Mm.
grandfather. The same when I interviewed Eddie Levert, because both my grandparents loved the OJs. So when I
Oh
had
my
a chance to interview Eddie, that was like another person that
God. Mm.
exuded confidence as well. That's why I said this
Yeah.
was, you said one, and that was hard. Like, cause
Oh, oh, girl. Oh,
yeah,
oh. You are naming. Listen, I love music. Music speaks to me. It gives me life. And
yes,
I tell you, to be in the presence of some of the greats, and the people you are naming off are some of the all-time greats.
favorites. Yep.
So what an honor and privilege that I'm sure it is to to be able to have your gift take you into those spaces, and to share that gift with the world.
And
Just even telling.
a lot of those interviews were from relationships and reputation in the industry. I'm not saying talent doesn't play a role in it,
Come
but
on,
it
though.
was reputation and relationships.
Really, it matters. It matters. You know what I mean? And who would have known that your first of all, the list reputation, but you put in the work with your skill. People fail to realize that competence builds confidence. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So you were able
Yes.
to take advantage of those opportunities and walk through the door because you had been putting in the work from the time you were a little teeny bopper
Mhm.
writing. You know what I mean? So there is something about honing our skills and whatever that gift is, whether it's journalism, singing, art,
Mhm.
business, education, whatever it is, do it to the fullest, to the
Yes,
best of your ability. And then God puts his favor on it. And listen,
baby.
that's it. Look, you already know. Oh my goodness, what a blessing. One of the things I love about Charlie Wilson is not just his, I mean, most definitely his unapologetic reverence of God, and him acknowledging God in
Yes.
every, because I've seen him on stage, I've seen him on interviews, and I just loved it. Over all of these years on this second half of his journey, he has been unapologetic, but I
Mhm.
also love the way that he honors his wife.
Yes. That
That
is beautiful.
is
What?
so beautiful to me, because he is like unapologetic about like this one here, and I think that is so important because people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and that woman came into his life
Yep.
at the appropriate time, and their journey together is an inspiration to so many. So,
They
oh,
hit Proverbs 31, definitely. He who
mm-hmm.
finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains
Come
favor
on,
from the Lord.
come on, come on, come
That
on, come
relationship
on.
right there.
It's beautiful. It's
Yes. That's
absolutely
why I said,
beautiful.
I don't know if you ever read his memoir, but
No, I
she has
haven't.
shut people down. She's like,
Oh,
look, my husband is recovering. You cannot
okay,
have that on his tour bus. You will
okay.
get terminated. Like,
Come on, come on.
no,
She is. I
not
love it.
again. And
We
that
need.
man has been 28 years sober.
What a blessing. We
28.
need people. We need people like that. We need people like that in our lives, and they may be far from what we think it would look like on paper, whatever that looks like.
Mhm.
But spirit knows spirit. You know what I mean? And I'm so grateful that he has an advocate in his life, someone who loves him unconditionally, and someone that he loves unconditionally.
Amen.
And sky's the limit, because when you get with those purpose partners, whether they're, whether it's marriage or just doing life. I got some
Mhm.
girlfriends in my life. My husband, of course, is my rock. He's my
Mhm.
rock. God knew what I needed, honey. He knew
Mhm.
what this one here needed. But because I'm a whole piece of work. I'm a piece of work. But I think about even the girlfriends that God has allowed and strategically placed in my life. Those are my purpose partners. You know what I
I
mean?
feel you. I have so many good colleagues and friends at home, back at home for
Mhm.
inspiration. But I have my
Yeah,
sisters. Like these are like my big sisters that I've known
yeah.
since college. And they keep me leveled up. Like
That part
now
right
you
there.
messing up and vice versa. And I
We
need that
get
because
you.
I'm stubborn as a mule. What I want is what I want. But
Confessions.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's good to have that.
it
And
is.
even my mom, she's 54. She's like, let me tell you something. As long as I'm breathing, I will never stop being a mother. Especially
That's
you
it.
7 hours away, I will never stop being a mother.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm like, my hands are tied. I think
Yeah.
I wouldn't I wouldn't happen any other way. But I get why she would say, what she says. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm telling you, to be blessed. My mother is amazing. My mother is amazing. And she's by far my biggest cheerleader. And much like you when you were young, she was the one pushing me and allowing me to try out and stumble. But she was always the truth. You know what I mean? She's
Mhm.
going to give it to me in love, but she's going to support me wholeheartedly. She ensured that home was always safe base, period.
And my
No
pops
matter
was the
how.
same way. He was like,
Mhm.
keep your nose clean. You stay out of trouble.
Come
Trouble
on.
won't find you. That was
Mhm.
a favorite line. Keep your nose clean. Just keep your nose
That's
clean.
real. That's
We
real.
heard that. My brother and my sister, we heard that so much. It was like, okay, oh my God, keep your nose clean. And then he'll give you a look like
Mhm.
like he's serious. And
Mhm.
then like growing up, my parents were very open because their
Mhm.
thing was, I'd rather tell you than someone else from the street tell you.
Come
So we
on.
had these
Come on.
family meetings
Mhm.
and we just put it out there. We
Mhm.
whatever we felt, whatever we wanted to know, we just
Mm-hmm.
put it out there.
Okay.
And my
Well, that's
grandparents
great.
were the reassurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Woo! Wow, wow, wow. I wish everybody, it is such a gift to have that be your story, because there's so many
Yes.
who don't have that. I just wish everybody had that in there. The world would be such a great place
And
if
I think
everybody
people,
had
and I
that.
think people do have it. I just think people don't appreciate it.
Well, I do think that there are a lot that do not appreciate it. Yeah, that thinks what they say, the grass is greener on the
You
other
know, another
side, and the
side.
world is calling, and they answering the door, not
Mm-hmm.
knowing all the treasures that are right
Yep.
here at home. Yeah, I
Yep.
do. And for those that don't have it, maybe biologically, like they weren't born into it, I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that God provides it in other ways. If
Yes.
you know what I mean, whether it's through adoptive, extended families,
Mm-hmm.
different teachers,
Blended
which those,
families. You know how many blended
mhm,
families are to
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
had two.
absolutely.
I'm a prime example of two blended families.
Wow,
Two
wow,
blended.
yeah. But you took it all in, which is half of
Mm-hmm.
the battle as well.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
people are very resistant, but it worked out well for you. It looks good on you, sis. It looks good on you. Well, listen, as we get ready to close, I want to turn our conversation in another direction, because I know that you are also a licensed massage practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
And in my book, my most recent book, The Tale of 10 Crowns, which is really what this whole podcast is kind of centered around, many of the listeners know that life's circumstances can compromise the crown of confidence that I believe each one of us is born and gifted with upon birth. I believe that once we understand who and whose we are,
Yes.
it's a game changer. But again, life circumstances can compromise that crown. And so
Absolutely.
one of the 10 crowns that I talk about in my book is the crooked crown, which comes, I like to describe it as it can often, we can find ourselves wearing a crooked crown when we are dealing with burnout. And I know with so much going on in the world and people being stretched in multiple places,
Mm-hmm.
self care is crucial. If we didn't learn anything from this past global pandemic a couple of years ago, that should be, everybody should be on the same page about the importance of taking care of ourselves, because
Yeah.
life is not promised. So when you think about the work that you do in that space, how, in your opinion, does self-care equate to healthy confidence?
I think because at the end of the day, confidence is self assurance.
Mm,
So if you are not looking the part, feeling the part, doing the things that will make you look the part, how you gonna have confidence
yeah.
in yourself? Like you said earlier, you said competence build confidence, and
Mm-hmm.
self care is being competent by
Mm,
how your lifestyle, how you
yeah.
eat, how you sleep. What are your healthy habits to maintain your self care? How are you maintaining your inner peace? And I
Right.
know for a lot of clients, um, massage gives them their inner peace.
Mm,
It's their
mm,
inner sanctuary. It's
yes.
their way to escape life, from whether it's 60 minutes, 90 minutes, or 2 hours. I didn't understand the delicacy of being a massage practitioner. Mind you, it was something my grandmother, God bless her
Mm,
soul,
mhm,
prophesized in my life,
mm. Wow.
16 years ago when I massaged her. And I thought at first that massage was just going to be my self care because my parents took me to a spa and I fell
Ooh,
in love with it.
girl.
I was 17. I was like, okay, this is
Ooh,
nice.
this is nice, nice.
Nice. But I never thought that I would be the professional until my grandmother said it. So now that
Wow.
I understand, because I always knew the craftsmanship of my hands, I just
Mhm,
didn't know that it was going to be in a professional realm. Yes, I get paid for what I do, but I
mhm.
love when people are out elated. like, oh my God, like she hit my points. She hit
Yeah.
my meridians. I didn't even know I had spots that was
Wow.
sore. Like I get that all the time. When majority of the time I get
Wow.
somebody say, I did not know. I did not
Wow.
know your touch. I did not know you were strong. Cause I'm a short little thing. I'm 4'11". So people
Uh-huh.
look at your height and they're like, is she really? And they come out and they like, oh my God. And then like I still have my New York license. So whenever I'm visiting New York, I could, massage legally in New York State as well.
Mhm.
So back to your question, when those reactions, it reminds you that you're doing something right. And that helps me with my self-care.
Yeah.
That it reminds me like I have the ability to help people in a stress relief profession. And it gives
Mhm.
me a boundary too. Like, make sure you practicing what you preach.
That part there. Woo! Woo! That part right there. I think when we get off of this, I need to schedule my appointment. I need to schedule my appointment. I'm overdue. I'm overdue. And I need to practice what I preach because you're right. Mindset matters, our care for ourselves. And if we don't care for ourselves, like you said, it shows up. When we
It
show up in
does.
the room,
It shows up.
it
Like I
shows
have
up.
massage professors. They said, "Look, let me tell you something. Whatever is going on with you and is not in order is going to show in your hands. Especially that people have been in this industry getting massages for years. Whatever
Uh-huh.
is felt in your heart will be
Yeah.
delivered in your hands." One of my good professors always said
Mm.
that to me.
Wow.
And for the last 4 years that I've been practicing massage, I keep my personal life separate. And I've been through some things in the last 4 years of therapist, but I
Mhm.
promise you a client will not know
Wow.
because I have set that boundary for myself the minute I got licensed
Good
because
for you.
it's not fair for somebody to bring their hard-earned time and money to
Mm.
get a massage and they don't get the efficient result because I'm in my feelings. You
Wow.
gotta keep your feelings and your money separated, and everybody
Mm.
don't do that. They don't have the strength to do that. And I also tell
Ooh,
clients that they can't get massages every month. Treat your body like a tune-up. The same way we can get a renter's insurance, get our
that's
oil
it.
change, get our filters changed. You can do that for your body 3 to 4
That's
times a year.
That's right. Oh, girl. Yes, yes, and yes. I just talked to one of my purpose partners, and I tell you, she lives in the spa. I mean, from the steam room to the body
Mhm,
scrub. I mean, that is her sanctuary. Sometimes she'll be because they have quiet spaces, she'll work from the spa.
mhm.
She gets it in, and I have been able to take notes and learn from her, because it affects the way that she shows up in the world, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
And you
thing.
see
So
what you said about the pandemic. A lot of people are understanding that massage is more than just relaxation. This is people's medicine. This is what people give them momentum to do the things that they need to do. So
mm,
I'm glad that massage practitioners we're getting our just dues as healthcare
mhm,
professionals. Because
yeah,
I tell people all the time, massage is just an extension of nursing. There is medicine
wow,
involved with that. There's so
yeah,
many sciences that we study with being a massage practitioner. So I think the pandemic was the boost to remind people, you know what? Yeah, this is
mhm,
our medicine. Now, even veterans are even getting massages through their insurance companies, where the
mhm.
insurance companies are paying vets to get massages.
Wow, how incredible.
Yep.
How incredible. And you think about it, for many, it's a proactive kind of medicine. You know what I mean? If you
Mhm.
can keep your stress level down, if you can take care of your body, if you can get in tune with your body and just even turn off things, because when
Mhm.
you're on that bed for 60 or 75 minutes, I don't know about your clients, but when I find myself there, I get the good sleep, the good,
Yeah,
good,
I'm
good
telling you,
sleep.
you got people snoring.
That
I
what
promise
we
you, you got people like I apologize. You got flatulence. You got it all. I've experienced all.
I'm sure you see it all.
I
But
said
just
there's no shame.
yeah,
But this is a
I'm
safe
sure.
place. Whatever
Yeah.
is kept in this treatment room is kept in the treatment room.
Listen,
So I've seen it, heard it all.
I love it. I love it. Well, God bless you. I'm so
Thank
excited
you.
to just see another sister walking in purpose, using all of her gifts. Because I'm a firm believer. I have this principle that I kind of live life by, and I want to die empty. And what I mean by that, I want to leave it all on the table. When I see my Heavenly Father face to face, whatever day that is, I want him to say, well done.
I agree.
And I want to make sure every gift and talent he has entrusted to me, I have used it to the best of my ability. That period. That's all he requires. Yeah. So listen, this has been phenomenal. This has just fed my soul. Listen, I am going to get my massage appointment scheduled by someone here in Atlanta. So if you have any recommendations, hit me up on places, people that I can go to here. But tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you if they're in the Virginia area, or maybe in New York if you do massages in New York, or if someone wants to utilize your services. I know you're a freelance journalist, so maybe there are people here who want to utilize your services and have you do some writing. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, for starters, my LinkedIn, the professional outlet, Dominique M. Carson. My Instagram is DomCarson90. My massage Instagram is DCarsonLMT. All my contact information is on my social media platforms. I also have the link in the bio. You can learn information about me. I just recently published a new collaboration book with myself and 18 other authors. It's called The Whole Entrepreneur. So we just did that. That's we're doing well on that. So if that's the latest endeavor as me as an author, and when you go into my linktree.com, you'll see more information about my journey and my services that I offer.
Excellent. And I always like to say this on every show, because I know some people catch the rebroadcast. Sometimes people are driving. Who knows where you might be listening to She's Crowned with Confidence. But whenever you get to your safe space, you can always check below. If you're on YouTube, you can check below and get all of her links. If you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, you can also visit She's Crowned with Confidence, where you can get all of Dominique's information. It'll be in the show description. And while you're there at she'scrownedwithconfidence.com, don't forget to get your very own copy of The Tale of 10 Crowns, my latest book. You can also find that on Amazon. So, Dominique, thank you, my sister, for spending this time and sharing all of your wisdom. And may God continue to bless all of the phenomenal things that you're doing in this world, my sister. Thanks for being a guest.
All right.
All right. God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to She's Crowned with Confidence with Dr. Nicole Steele, the Confidence Coach. This Confidence Cast has been brought to you in part by Diamond in the Rough Youth Development Program and Gym Makers LLC. For more information on this podcast, previous episodes, programs, or products, simply visit she'scrownedwithconfidence.com or therealnicolesteele.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Nicole Steele. Thank you.